No, is the short answer. The HR people are not doing enough of that. I remember a piece of advice I got when I joined Kerry was from the factory manager there. He said, you need to walk the floor every day. You need to be out there. You need to see the organization and understand how the organization works. You know, Kerry was an amazing organization for measuring impact, measuring results. Everything had a measurement attached to it. But that kind of belied, I suppose, how the work happened every day. So on the one hand, everything was measured and measurements were king. But on the other hand, behaviors and working in the FMCG sector, you can't take chances with food.
Yeah.
So it actually was the behavior of people in terms of making sure the quality was right, making sure that if there was a mistake or an error, like all those things were so important. But the walking the factory floor, understanding the business really stood to me in that organization, because when I went into the leadership meetings then and people talking about challenges in production or challenges in finance, I knew what they meant and I knew how to support the organization from a people perspective within that context. And very often, I think HR falls into the kind of, I suppose, the trap of become, very operational and very busy doing things, policies and procedures and, managing people, which, is absolutely abhorrent to me. HR do not manage people. People managers manage people. But I think the commercial understanding your business, and again in Hilti, I moved into sales to really understand the business. It was commercial sales organization essentially. Understand the business that you're supporting, because without that, you're making the wrong decisions. I think today HR has moved from being that, HR operations role, which was very strong in compliance and all that good stuff and still needs to happen. But I think AI and, systems and all of that good stuff, they're more and more taking the burden of that work away. And what that does, it allows people in the HR profession to really partner with the business, understand the business, and be involved in all of the decisions, not just the people decisions, around how the business can be successful. Because HR people have such a depth of knowledge about the business, about people, and they can have a really unique perspective. So for me, if you're a HR professional and you don't know your business, you're on hiding to nothing. You really need to
Mm.
step out there. You need to understand the business. You need to understand the finance. You need to understand, the core function of the organization, whether that's sales or marketing or manufacturing, and just know it. And it's just, for me, it's
Yeah.
not negotiable.